Hello, adventurers! In today's video, we're going to explore the best indie games with the saddest endings. Get ready for an emotional roller coaster because these games will tug at our hearts. Before we begin, I want to give an important warning. This video contains spoilers for the endings of these games. So, if you haven't had the chance to play them yet and want to experience the story without knowing the outcome, I recommend coming back after playing them to avoid any unwanted spoilers. So, brace yourselves and get ready to discover 5 indie games that have left a lasting impact on their players, with endings that made us reflect and feel a mix of intense emotions. Night in the Woods is an adventure game that allows you to explore a colorful world filled with interesting characters and conflicts that will require you to befriend people from all over the town. Night in the Woods revolves around May Borowski, a college dropout who returns home and must confront the problems that arise in her hometown. Throughout the game, it is suggested that the 20-year-old protagonist May Borowski is experiencing a constant mental decline. Her dreams are filled with mysterious symbolism as she runs through geometric playgrounds and urban landscapes, searching for a light in the darkness and potentially being watched by an unnerving presence. Since witnessing someone being kidnapped on Halloween and the disappearance of her childhood friend Casey Hartley, something is brewing in the quiet town of Possum Springs. In the ending of Night in the Woods, May is accompanied by her friends Greg, Angus, and Bee as she finally comes face to face with the cult behind it all. Possum Springs used to be a thriving industrial paradise, with a community of miners, its own sawmill, and a once-cool shopping mall. The cultists claim that to keep the town afloat, they have been sacrificing souls to an entity they call the Black Goat. When confronted by May and questioned if they were responsible for Casey's disappearance, the cult leader admits to throwing him down the mine to feed the goat, seen as a disposable deadbeat. After May uncovers the secrets of the death cult, it seems like a moment of catharsis. Her dissociation and the cult seem intertwined, and with all assumptions stripped away and the truth exposed, May and her friends can finally start moving forward. Of course, this doesn't explain what the team does next, now armed with the knowledge of their town's dark history. But when the game ends with just another band practice session, like any other day in Possum Springs, this open ending suggests hope on the horizon for May and her misfit gang. Throughout Night in the Woods, the protagonist begins to form bonds and develops close relationships with many of the story's characters. However, in the end of the game, you end up feeling unsatisfied with the resolution. Especially because some of the issues remain unresolved, creating a sense of player outrage. Nonetheless, May learns to confront her problems and overcome past events instead of dwelling on them, bringing a somewhat neutral ending to a fantastic story and gaming experience. In Papers, Please, you decide who crosses the border between Grestin and Arstotzka while implementing laws and government policies that will bring glory to the Arstotzkan government and keep your homeland safe. However, Arstotzka is not all that it seems. Behind the simple immigration control at the borders, there is government corruption and revolution at hand. Behind Papers, Please lies a truly grim story about a man who was chosen to work for the Arstotzkan government through a lottery and must work to keep his family alive. In Papers, Please, you will work as an immigration inspector at the Arstotzkan side of Grestin's borders. The game takes a turn as the government you work for becomes more hostile towards immigrants. Slowly, more and more policies are implemented to prevent suspicious individuals from entering Arstotzka. An example of the depth of the story in Papers, Please is when a revolutionary group tries to convert you to their cause. You will have to choose between the security of the government or the radical freedoms of a revolutionary movement. However, you are not alone. Your family depends on you, and every action you take can affect them and the outcome of your story. There are multiple endings in Papers, Please, and over 20 of them involve sad outcomes for you and your family. The statement and thoughtfulness embedded in Papers, Please cannot be underestimated and is worth checking out. In Undertale, you will play as a human who falls into an underground world full of monsters. But are all these creatures truly monsters? Are they as wicked as they seem? Either way, you must find a way out or risk being trapped in darkness forever. Will you choose to play as a pacifist or perhaps take a darker path and remove the monster from the scene? Undertale is considered one of the best indie titles of recent years, primarily due to its story and pacifist gameplay options. Most interactions in Undertale deal with a range of emotions and make you question the choices you have made throughout the game. As a pacifist, the ending can be quite satisfying but leave an emotional mark on your mind. However, if you decide to choose the genocide path, the ending can be horrifying and relentless for the main character. This ending is only achieved by killing all the creatures. Not only that, but you have to ensure that the death counter for each area has also been fulfilled. Spare or miss even one at any point, and you'll get a variation of the neutral ending. Once you reach the new home, everything will be labeled and read as yours, rather than a thing. This is the game acknowledging that you are the first human, the one Toriel and Ascari originally adopted, and the one who caused the fate of their child, Asriel. Flowey will also talk to you about your past and how life is kill or be killed. When it comes time to encounter Sans in the Golden Room, instead of judging you, he will fight you. Sans is one of the toughest boss battles in the game, and you will have to keep dodging his attacks until eventually he falls asleep and you can kill him. When you encounter Ascari, you kill him immediately, just like Flowey, whom you now terrorize and beg you not to do it. You will come face to face with Chara, the original human who is also you in a strange way. Chara will praise you for your determination and power and say that the two of you can destroy more worlds and erase this one. Regardless, the game will end with a broken bar animation, implying that the game itself is permanently damaged. Silence, The Whispered World 2 is a visually stunning and emotionally driven game that takes you on a journey through a fantastical world. The game beautifully combines stunning hand-painted visuals with a compelling narrative. You'll encounter intricate puzzles, explore breathtaking environments, and interact with intriguing characters, each with their own unique personality and backstory. Silence, The Whispered World 2 is a story-driven game that allows you to experience what life is about for two kids named Noah and his younger sister Rennie. The danger of war and the choices you must make for your family are an integral part of this fantasy world called the Silence. What would you do if your brother was in danger? What choices would you make in the name of family? In Silence, The Whispered World 2 you will experience a fantasy world unlike any that have come before it, however there's a catch. Toward the end of Silence, The Whispered World 2 you will have to make a difficult decision that will have massive consequences for your character and their family. To the Moon, developed by Freebird Games, has been widely downloaded and revered by many gamers as a riveting and heartbreaking narrative. The game is short and is best experienced with a straight playthrough, taking about 2 to 4 hours to complete. To the Moon is the story of Johnny's final wish on his deathbed and the mission of Dr. Eva and Dr. Watts to enter his mind and make it happen. You play as either Eva or Watts, who work for Sigmund Core and connect people to a machine to fulfill their dying wish within their memories. As his final memory, Johnny wants to visit the moon, but to make it happen Eva and Watts need to track the earliest memory of why he wanted to visit the moon in the first place. The journey takes the player through his entire life backwards Benjamin Button style, from old age to a kid until they reach the moment when he wants to visit the moon. At the end of the first act, the player goes back to his earliest childhood to find blank memories. These blank memories are the reason he wants to go to the moon, so Eva and Watts need to reach them by pushing the limit of the machine. What they find out is that Johnny used to have a brother, Joey, who passed away in a car accident. Who would have thought the intro scene of Watts running over an animal would have been foreshadowing? Because of his traumatizing death, Johnny was given blocker medicine to forget memories that have registered thus far in those past few days. One of the memories block. Days before Joey's accident, Johnny sneaks off at a neighborhood carnival and finds a lookout spot to the stars. There he meets River for the first time in his life, and the two have an awkward but sincere bonding about space and going to the moon. They bond in those moments, and motifs throughout the game, bunny origami, a platypus stuffed animal, yes play the game, suddenly make sense. Joey and River make a promise to meet each other at the same spot next year, to the moon. But that memory happened close to Joey's death, and therefore forgotten. Johnny never remembers this moment, and when Johnny and River meet in the future, River is trying to break sense into him and remind him of their first memory. Johnny never budges, and although the two marry, they can never connect fully on his desire to go to the moon. Eva realizes the solution to fulfilling the contract and getting Johnny what he wants is by making sure Joey never dies in his memories. Therefore his real memories are altered and a new life is created where everyone is alive, and Johnny makes it to the moon with River next to him. To the Moon's ending challenges the player to decide for themselves what is morally right and wrong for Johnny. Is it right to alter his real memories to give him his happiest but fabricated timeline, or is it right to keep his real memories but know that his final wish for happiness would not be fulfilled? The game does an excellent job presenting the conflict with its two characters meant to save the day, Eva, who is dedicated to the solution and is willing to complete the task skin deep, and Watts, who at first seems disinterested but after invested time in Johnny's memories realizes he wants what's best for him even if he doesn't do what he is contracted to do. Eva and Watts are satisfied in the final scene, at least for themselves. Everything is a product of Eva and Watts and what they want for Johnny based on their empathy and connection as they went through his timeline. And so we come to the end of this thrilling video about the best indie games with sad endings. I hope you have enjoyed the selection and have felt the depth and impact of these stories. They show us that indie games have the power to move and surprise us just as much as any major production. If you have played any of these games, please share your experiences in the comments below. And if you haven't had the chance yet, don't worry, because this list will always be here to inspire you to explore these impactful narratives. Don't forget to leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more videos about the incredible world of games. Until next time.